So with that, we will open the 2020 Difference Maker $50,000 Idea Challenge. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Risk Difference Maker Institute's Difference Maker Idea Challenge. We're really excited to have you all here virtually with us. We know it's a challenge given the fact that we're used to joining in a big room together and all this excitement, but we're pretty confident that the teams we've put together for you tonight will help us all have a exciting evening. We will try to keep this agenda moving along this evening. We do have 10 teams lined up. We have some opening remarks. We'll orient folks a bit to the program. We're excited to have the Chancellor here this evening with us to say a few words about one of her favorite programs on campus, and some really wonderful judges who've been great supporters over the past few years. So thank you all very much. This is the eighth annual Difference Maker Challenge. So we've been at this for a few years now, and it's been working out really, really well. For those of you that are relatively new to the program, just a reminder that Difference Maker is really about equipping UMass Lowell students with a set of skills that allows them to solve big problems. And we know what we're going through right now with this COVID challenge is presenting some really big problems. And the goal here is to help our students understand how to solve those problems in creative and innovative ways. And certainly the work of our faculty and the staff and the alumni who've worked with them and supported our students over the years have really helped them to tackle and solve big problems. Issues like lack of clean water in Haiti, or issues with being able to secure an affordable prosthetic in India. Our student teams are tackling those issues, and we're really proud of the work that they do. The impact of this has been just incredible. The number I jumped to is in the middle of the screen. These teams have raised $4 million already. So the investment that we've made, the $350,000 that we've awarded to students over the last 8 years, all of that funding from alumni and partners and sponsors and friends, those students who've been successful have converted this into $4 million in grant funding, equity funding, partner funding. We've got 35 companies that have been formed over the course of the 8 years, and Holly and her team have worked with over close to 34,000 students at the university in a whole range of different events. So kudos to the team that have worked so hard to make this all possible. It really, really is exciting to see the teams, but also to see the team's success. So tonight you're going to hear from 10 teams, and then we'll be taking a little bit of a break in the event in order to allow the judges to pick the winners. We have a whole range of prize categories this evening, and we'll go into those in more detail a little bit later. But now it's my pleasure to introduce a real champion of this Difference Maker program, somebody who I had the pleasure of sitting with 8 years ago and sort of brainstorming this and thinking about how can we put together something that would really touch the lives of many of our students. And with her guidance and support, we've been able to pull that off. So without further ado, let me introduce Chancellor Jackie Maloney.
Thank you, Steve. And it's really so great to see how far we've come. And thanks so much for sharing those kind remarks and also the reflection on how far we've come. It's just hard to believe this is our 8th annual Risk Difference Maker Idea Challenge. And I just want to start by saying thank you, all the judges, and I'll comment on that later, but especially Brian Risk, who we see on the stage, in our Brian, who so generously donated funds to make our Risk Difference Maker Institute such an important part of our university and such a great legacy. Brian, welcome all the way from Florida. So, you know, as you know, all of you know, this is absolutely my favorite go-to event. Next to commencement, this is the best event of the year because we bring together these genius students who show so much courage in coming up with so many great ideas year after year. And to hear the accomplishments that Steve just talked about is really remarkable. We applaud all of the students who are here tonight for taking that chance, for pulling yourselves together, for keeping it going, and then finally for your big night tonight to make this pitch to this great group of judges. You know, it's hard to imagine, like I said, it seems like it was yesterday, but just a little over a month ago when we announced, sadly, that we would have to move to remote learning at UMass Lowell. But I just wanted to share quickly before we go into today's proceedings, just so you can share in that UMass Lowell pride what's accomplished what's been accomplished in our community. In just a little over 5 days, we moved 18,000 students into the online learning environment, 2,000 faculty and staff supporting our students to make sure that they got the same quality of education that we promised them when they came here. Trust me, everyone worked around the clock 24/7 to make sure that our students' experiences were high quality and also that our faculty and staff could be there for them. The response has been fantastic. Everyone made the lift. I want to say especially to you, our students, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your understanding. I think you too can see what's happening around the world and how important it was that we made this decision when we did. But I have to tell you, as extraordinary as that has been, knowing this community, within a week, everyone also started thinking, because of UMass Lowell, so much of what happened, it's just not within the classroom that's important. It's what happened outside the classroom. And that's why people like Holly Butler and Harfo, they just stepped right to it and say, how are we going to make this happen? Tom O'Donnell, how can we make these virtual experiences for outside the classroom as meaningful or as close as we can get to all being together? Just so you know, there'll be close to 1,000 virtual experiences, just like the one that we're having tonight, many of them with 100 plus students and faculty, staff, community, alumni gathering together in true Riverhawk spirit. It's just been phenomenal to watch. And then finally, I just want you to know that UMass Lowell has also stepped to the plate helping our community. You should know that this university has been working with emergency responders around the state, getting as many PPEs as we can out there. Our faculty researchers are working with manufacturers to make sure that we get the kind of product out there they need. And then also, as we speak, we will be opening our recreation center as a 100-bed field hospital within the next few days to help our community with the surge that we know is happening again as we speak. And finally, just to all of you who have been affected by this virus, you and your families, our hearts and prayers go out to you for well-being. And our deepest thanks also to those who are the first responders, our docs, nurses, medical technicians, transporters, some of our own students, many of our alumni out there, making sure that patients get the best care possible. But then, of course, let's turn our eyes back on this evening. And we know we're so grateful to our alumni and friends and sponsors, $50,000 in cash prizes. This is no small amount of money, but we know each year, as Steve mapped out for us, our teams go on and do great things. Everyone from non-spec, our very first team, to Invisaware, both of them now have generated over $1 million in investments in their products, and they are making a huge difference in so many people's lives with their initial idea. Last year's team, Ambulatory, already winning competitions across the state of Massachusetts, doing a fantastic job, and we expect great things from the work that they'll be doing. And so we're really excited to watch all of you tonight, because we know that with your ideas, you too will go out and do great things, that you too will go out and make a great difference with your ideas. And here to support you, of course, this whole community. I can't believe how many people are on this Zoom. So many to support you and encourage you and support your ideas, but most especially the judges who are with us tonight. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this evening, to make sure that you're here to show these students how much you care about their work and to guide their efforts. Lorna Boucher, all the way from New York City. We know there's a lot going on in New York, so thank you for being here with us. It means the world to us. Cindy Condi, one of the co-chairs of our Engineering Advisory Board, doing so many great things for UMass Lowell, along with Mark Saab, who's also a co-chair of Engineering Advisory Board. Jack Wilson, of course, the founder of our Jack Wilson Entrepreneurship Center, and of course, Brian Rist. Together, you should know our students who will eventually have some startups for sure. And one of the things they tell you is to make sure that you have a bench of friends and allies who can advise you, who can tell you when you're doing things right and when you should think about a different path. Well, this is my group of go-to friends. So thank you, alumni, for being here. Thank you for being the great judges that you have been and the great supporters of our UMass Lowell students. So to the teams, good luck. We're looking forward to hearing your presentations. I hear you're fantastic and that you already made it through the preliminary pitch. So we look forward to this evening. Good luck, everyone.
Thanks so much, Jackie, too, if I could just say in, because I know how much you've done around the city of Lowell for the COVID crisis and all, and it's just incredible. So, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Chancellor. It's been great to have you as a partner, and we're thrilled to have you as a leader as we go through this crisis, so thank you. With that, I would like to welcome another partner in crime in this program. I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to meet Holly when she was a student here at the university and got involved working with her early on. And so it's now my pleasure to introduce Holly Butler, who is the program director for the Entrepreneurial Initiatives and the Risk Difference Maker Institute. Holly, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Steve. And thank you, Chancellor Maloney, for your very nice words. I want to welcome everyone to the 2020 Difference Maker Idea Challenge. So before we get started with the student pitches, I just wanted to do a few thank yous and kind of set the stage for the next couple of hours. So first, I would like to give a big thank you and recognize all of our faculty fellows. So these individuals work very closely with us and act as ambassadors for Difference Maker to help recruit students and prepare them for competitions like the one we're having this evening. So thank you all very much for your dedication to Difference Maker and our teams. Next up, I would like to thank all the Difference Maker staff. I'd like to give a particular shout out to Tom O'Donnell and Randy Tyndall. So they've been working with us over the last few days to set up the Zoom meeting, the webinar, and they're managing a lot of the software from the back end. So tonight wouldn't really be happening without them. So thank you so much for your time and efforts. It means a lot to us. Next up, I would just like to thank all of the sponsors, particularly who are sponsoring this evening's event. So these individuals are sponsoring specific prizes, which will be given out at the award ceremony at the end of this evening. And then another big thank you again to Chancellor Maloney, Provost Joe Hartman, all the college deans, all faculty, students, and staff, just everyone who's involved in Difference Maker and continues to help bring the program to new heights. And then last week from April 7th to the 9th, we actually had our preliminary pitch off where we had 27 student teams pitching their ideas to 27 alumni judges. So I just wanted to take a moment to recognize all of those folks for their time, their feedback, and their contributions to making tonight's student teams just absolutely wonderful. So thank you all. And I know a lot of them are here this evening with us. So thank you. And of course, this evening would be nothing without our amazing judges. So a very big thank you to all of our judges this evening. We have Lorna Boucher, who graduated from the Manning School of Business. She's the Chief Marketing Officer at Instinet, and she is in New York. So Lorna, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And we have Cindy Condi, who graduated from the Francis College of Engineering, and she is the CEO of Condi Co. Brian Rist graduated from the Manning School of Business, and he is the president and CEO of the Smart Companies, and for whom the Risk Difference Maker Institute is named after. So thank you so much, Brian. Mark Saab graduated from the Francis College of Engineering, and he's the Chief Technology Officer at Vention Medical. And then last but not least, Jack Wilson, who's been a great supporter of Difference Maker throughout the years. He's the President Emeritus of the UMass System and Distinguished Professor of Higher Education, Emerging Technologies, and Innovation at UMass Lowell. So thank you very much, Jack, and to all of our teams this evening. So just to briefly set the stage for the event. So over the next 2 hours, you're going to be hearing from 10 student teams. Again, these teams pitched last week at the preliminary pitch-off and were chosen as the top 10 teams to move on to the idea challenge this evening. Each one of these teams will receive a prize and a portion of $50,000 in funding. And throughout the event, if you want to learn more about each of these teams, you can go to the link www.uml.edu/2020 finalists, and all the teams, the 10 teams, are listed there with a bit more of information. So each one of these teams will have 5 minutes to pitch, followed by a 5-minute Q&A session from the judges. So about 2 hours from now, around 7:15, when the pitches end, we're going to have about a 45-minute intermission break for all participants to maybe go grab some food, some water, while we move the judges into a separate, a separate Zoom room where we will do the deliberation, and then we'll all come back and we'll have the award ceremony. And that will be taking place around 8 p.m. this evening. So with that, it is now my great pleasure to introduce my colleague, Difference Maker Project Manager, Ha Fo. So Ha and I have been working together now for the past 8 years, and she will be introducing the teams, and she'll also be our timekeeper this evening. So welcome, Ha, and thank you.
So thank you, Holly. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 2020 Difference Maker Idea Challenge Pitch Off. So the first team we'll pitch today is Autonomous Food Exercise Device. Team, please prepare their presentations. The team member here is Edwin Medina, is biomedical engineering. Kamal Rai, also biomedical engineering. Katia Rodriguez, biomedical engineering, and Kazi Kroma, biomedical engineering. Please, team, share the presentation and start your 5-minute presentation now.
Thank you very much for that lovely presentation. My name is Katia Rodriguez, and I am joined by my co-presenter, Edwin Medina. In addition to us, our group is composed of Proma Kazi and Kamal Rai. On behalf of our group, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the Difference Maker competition community for allowing us to get this far and for providing us with the opportunity to present our idea to you this evening. We are a group of biomedical engineering students who work together to develop AFED, an autonomous foot exercising device designed to treat and prevent foot complications, because healthy feet are the foundation to a healthy body. National statistical data reveals that at one point or another, 77% of the adult population in the US have experienced foot pain, but yet only a third of those would seek clinical help as their first line of treatment. To get a better glimpse at how this issue impacts our local community, we conducted a survey with the UMass Lowell population. 80% of our participants admitted to personally suffering from foot pain or knowing someone who does. Similarly to the national survey, only a fraction, 10% to be exact, would opt for clinical treatments to obtain relief from their foot-related complications.
Healthy feet are the foundation to a healthy body. The problem is that improper foundation for the body leads to incorrect distribution of its weight. The feet natural arches are the major responsible for the optimal alignment and balance of the feet. The feet arches absorb impacts when you walk, run, and jump. The arch of the foot is like a bridge, with the two ends of the bridge being the heel and the front of the foot. The ends of the bridge are held in place by muscles. They come together to compress the joints and help to form the foot's arch. When these muscles are weaker, the arch falls to support the feet, causing unbalance and ineffective support, causing the bridge to collapse. If the arch of the foot is not able to provide the necessary support, for the body becomes imbalanced. Having unsupported feet can lead to develop or musculoskeletal disorders ranging from foot, knee, back, neck pain, arthritis, herniated disc, and sciatica. One of the most popular resistant treatments to this problem is archdentures. They support and cushion the feet. They can still proper walking and standing techniques and also relieve pain. But the truth is that they cannot correct biomechanical foot complications and instead create long-term dependency, and they can get very costly. Another popular treatment is physical therapy, where the individual performs different types of exercises, as toe spreading or towel gripping, to recover some muscle functionality. This alternative can help improve balance and prevent muscle deterioration, and can eventually result in the correction of the foot problem if the individual is committed to the process. But this can also be very costly.
So AFET is unique in the sense that it's able to combine the comfort and convenience of a traditional shoe insole with the unquestionable benefits of physical therapy, as discussed by Edwin. How will AFET do this exactly? Let's take a quick look. AFET is composed of strategically placed electrodes housed within the insole itself. These electrodes are then activated through a fully customizable program to stimulate and contract key foot muscles with the help of electrical current. This concept is known as EMS. EMS allows our insole to mimic common physical therapy exercises. We have a couple of clips here to demonstrate exactly how AFET is able to do this. In the first clip, we're able to see that the towel gripping exercise is being replicated. And in the second clip, we see how AFET stimulates the muscles involved in toe spreading exercises. These are just two examples of how our product is able to function as a method to reinforce the foot's natural arc. Now a little bit more into the technology behind it. The graph displays how the amplitude of muscle contraction activity after EMS treatment is greatly increased. This means that not only are the muscles being stimulated, but their strength is being accelerated. This is precisely the goal we're trying to reach with the foot's arc. So AFET is convenient, user-friendly, practical, comfortable, customizable, affordable at under $100, and best of all, it's effective in providing a real solution to a real problem.
AFET business system will support both B2C and B2B commercial transactions, with the two e-commerce platforms being created. In B2C, the consumers who buy the product from us will pay the same price as other consumers, while the B2B transactions will depend on the conditions and potential benefits from the partnership. Our main customers will be retailers, end users, clinicians, and physical therapists, while our channels will be online through e-commerce platforms, and we will offer the product to major retail stores and medical facilities that are already selling insoles.
Your time's up.
Will come both from B2C transactions and B2B partnerships.
Thank you very much, teams. So let's open the floor for the question and answers from the judges, please.
I wonder if, how did you get the pattern for the electrical stimulus? Is there information, telling you kind of what pattern you would for the electrodes and in energizing them?
We use a pre-existing device for electrical stimulation that they use for muscle toning, but we adjusted to our device. So we haven't patented anything yet. That was the question, I'm sorry.
I was wondering, how do you decide what pattern for electrical stimulation? Are you using an existing pattern that others have developed and you're just finding a better way to deliver it? Or
no. Okay, I see what you mean. So we target the origin and the insertion of the muscles that are responsible for the arch. So they already set up different types of arch in the feet, medial, longitudinal, and transversal arches. So they all have like an insertion and and an origin, where we can target those specific parts to just make a path. We will like research more on how we will develop like a pathway through it.
Right, the technicality behind the EMS unit itself already exists because we are using a prefabricated unit, but we're just concentrating it on the muscles that are responsible for maintaining the foot's arc.
Can you talk me through the customer experience? How would they use it? How often would they need to use it? Is it sort of manually plugged in? Does it need to be replaced? Some of that stuff.
I think, well, it depends on the type, because AFA can be both preventative and a treatment device, depending on how you use it. If you want to strain your muscles because you lack some balance, you can use it a few times a day just to like get used to it. But we also implementing physical therapy to it, so it can be more effective. It will all depend on the type of condition that the patient has, depending on what's the goal.
And can it be used while in motion? Being an autonomous device, is it something you expect that stop? Put this device
for
down.
Our first prototype, we didn't use it in motion, but we did test it in motion, and they also worked. It will come down to redefine our system prototype to make it in motion, but it's a little bit more complicated when it's in motion, because you're already contracting while you walk. So if you contract while you walk, you might lose balance. So that's something that we're working on. But as it is for now, it's something that you need to do when you're sitting down or standing still.
But we also took into consideration the fact that it could be uncomfortable for our users, which is why we did make a point to test it while in motion, and it is tolerable. It's not as if they cannot do it. We just have to refine it.
Okay. Yeah. So that I remember the device from, I think, the engineering prototype challenge back in the fall, and one of the comments I had then was just around the size and just the profile of the device, because for me personally, I think that the premise of what you're trying to do and around healthy feet being the foundation to a healthy body is spot on. I think it's really really important, but be able to design and develop and commercialize a device that people will use, that will be, there will be compliance around, they will adopt it, and it will, I'm certain it will make a difference, but it's just, I had some concerns back then about just the profile of the device. Have you made any improvements there?
We have not, unfortunately. We did, our next plan is to consult with medical professionals and potential customers. That is our next step. But unfortunately, with everything that is happening now with the health crisis, we did get set back quite a bit. But that is the next step.
Great. And are you considering this a Class 1 regulatory pathway, or what pathway are you considering for this device approval?
Because it uses electrical stimulation, it will be considered a Class 2 device, but we also have predicates that we can mimic for the Class 2 device, and it's not as complicated as it will be for other type of devices.
Are there any risk factors for consumer misuse around a device like this? I know you read conflicting things about EMS technologies for people with various, circulatory conditions, et cetera. Are there any concerns about making this direct to consumer OTC from a risk perspective, or is that something you guys have already addressed?
For what we have done, we have researched. We will be looking at the EMS type of devices that are in the market. They do have some cautions, the time that's being used, because it can overheat. Besides that, if it's used for less than 20 minutes, there's nothing we need to worry about. And we will need to redefine our system product in order to test it for more detail.
I'm sorry that 5 minutes is up for question and answers. Next team, please. Connect me. Please prepare your presentations. This team is including Alisa Moudry, Biomedical Engineering, Abby Magnetti, Business Administration, Kaya Hamblett, Mechanical Engineering, Jackson Kelly, Mechanical Engineering, Jamie Waldron, Criminal Justice, Tiffany Miller, Biomedical Engineering. Please, team, turn on your presentations.
Hello, thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Alyssa Mullery and our team is Connect Me. Do any of you know of a person who has had knee surgery, for example, an ACL repair? This is not surprising due to the fact that there are over 350,000 surgeries just for ACL reconstruction in the United States annually, which creates the perfect market for our new medical device, Connect Me. The problem we are focusing on is a slow, discouraging recovery after a knee surgery. As you can see in the chart, patients' joy they experience severely decreases immediately following post-operation and does not return to normal until about 3 to 4 weeks after. Another problem area we are focusing on is the time lost, money spent, and the fluctuation of muscle strength post-operation. We created a survey to better understand the knee injury demographics, and our data collection showed us that of the people surveyed, 51% reported knee injuries, with 71% requiring surgery. We also found that the average time spent in recovery was just over 6 months, and the average age of injury was about 23 years. Because there have been 6.6 million knee injuries over a 10-year period, and the market size is already $1.5 billion, with the expected annual growth rate of 4.3%, we think our product would boom in the industry. Our charts demonstrate the growth is seen across the board, and knee injuries are the most reported of all body parts. We also found from our survey that 73% of patients required physical therapy in their recoveries. Another reason this market is at the most ideal time to enter is there's only one major competitor already in, which is the Dawn Joy X4 Smart Brace. However, what sets us apart are 3 critical reasons. First, Connect Me includes electromyogram sensors to track the muscles and how they change. Second, Connect Me is a post-operative brace that can be used immediately following surgery, unlike the X4 Smart Brace, which is just a compression sleeve over the knee. And lastly, while the X4 Smart Brace targets the older generation where total knee reconstruction surgeries happen frequently, we believe targeting young recovering athletes who experience most injuries due to sports would be the perfect market entryway. But don't just take our word for it. After surveying the opinions of physical therapists and medical practitioners, we gathered their feedback too. Our device will improve the quality, speed, and efficiency of the most common brace used, the hinge brace. And with 64% of all physical therapy patients getting injured through sports, both our target audience and marketing strategies are ideal. This brace will be sold directly to the physical therapy's office, allowing the option to provide this advanced technology to the recovering athletes they see fit. So what exactly is our proposed solution? We believe that the modification of the hinge knee brace is key. Our product utilizes 2 types of sensors, electromyogram sensors and electrogoniometers. Electromyogram sensors are surface sensors that can be attached to any muscle. Connect Me focuses on the major leg muscles affected, specifically on the quad, hamstring, and calf areas. The purpose of these sensors is to record muscle activity. So theoretically, there should be a big difference in a patient's EMG reading or muscle activity right after surgery compared to when their strength returns and they have a healthy, strong muscle. Electric goniometers record range of motion in a joint. This is important because many patients immediately following surgery are not allowed to bend their knee at all. By incorporating the sensor into the device, it will allow the physical therapist to make sure the patient is maintaining the proper range of motion and allows the patient to visually see their knee becoming more flexible. The importance of this combination of sensors in the brace is to allow the patient to see how the strength returns to their muscles that have been affected. In the previous slide, you saw a graph of weak muscle contractions and strong muscle contractions, which are 2 good examples of a before and after EMG of a hypothetical patient. Now, all this visible data tracked by the sensors will be compiled into an easy-to-use app that comes with this brace, allowing patients and therapists to constantly monitor recovery efforts, making sure the patient stays on track with their exercises and physical therapy. This allows the physical therapist to make changes and adjustments to the patient's plan sooner so they can have the best recovery. This visual data is key to keeping the patients motivated and engaged in their recovery, because what else can a patient want than to recover quickly and return to their normal self? How can we achieve this? With the help of a $6,000 investment, we can develop a proper working prototype and app that can bring our idea to life. Over the next year, we plan to construct, test, and fully create a functioning smart brace that will not only speed up recovery time, but allow patients to track their health day by day, minute by minute. We live in a world where we have smart cars, smartphones, and even smart water. So why can't your recovery be smart too?
Thank you very much, team. Let's have our questions now for the team.
Yeah,
This is Brian.
Okay, go ahead, Brian.
Okay, you didn't really get a chance to talk about how you would go to market. Would you be selling this to consumers or through doctors, or how would you plan on doing that?
So we'd be selling it directly to the physical therapy offices and allowing them the option to give it to which patients they see fit.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and a quick question regarding the, just the idea of this being a product play versus a technology platform play. I could see potentially some usage of this technology beyond just knee recovery. It could be used in many other areas in the arthroscopic field. So just curious, what was the rationale behind focusing on the knee? Was it just the potential market, or was there something else driving that? And are you considering a platform play in the future?
I would say probably the potential market, and the fact just that a lot of us personally know people who have been affected by knee injury. That's what made us think that the knee was a good place to start. That being said, we agree that this has potential to work on a lot of other joints and body parts. We just figured the knee would be the best market to enter immediately.
I broke my elbow once and it was miserable, and I think that a device like this would have been great for that. My question is about sort of, have you done any work around what you think the unit cost would be, and do you think that health insurance and et cetera will be amenable to a device like this, or would this be something that would be out of plan? Like, have you done any work on that yet?
So we did have a little chart about how much each part would cost, thinking the total amount for cost, and we're thinking we'll use that to evaluate how much it would be per unit or per hinge brace. We think insurance would probably cover it, as they do with some braces and physical therapy treatments. Unfortunately, that is one of the areas we do need more research in. So I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, no, it did. And the other question I think I would have relates to the use of the app throughout the process. Is the platform supporting the app analysis something that the business would maintain and feed back to the providers, or is that something that you would, kind of distribute out to the medical community that's using it?
So I think that would be more so related to the medical community. Personally, I know my doctor's office has an app that I can track all my personal records and everything on privately, and that's just held between me and my providers. So I think that's the idea going forward on how they would handle that.
Is there any more question for the team for a moment? If not,
I just have one other question. I know you mentioned that your only competitor right now is DonJoy, and I actually went through an ACL replacement and I used the DonJoy brace and was motivated enough to be able to recover fast without having a device like this. So I guess my question to you is, it's very subjective because you're going to have different people that are going to be able to be motivated to take an active role in their recovery, and others may not. I love the fact-based approach to being able to monitor or track the progress. But I guess my question is, like, how do you how are you able to quantify the effect of just providing people more motivation by having facts and data versus not having it at all? I mean, because I've seen successful recovery. So how do you assess that or quantify the impact of that?
I guess one thing we would compare initially, once we have some prototype products, would be a feedback survey, seeing how people react to the brace. So prior to this, we conducted this survey with people we know, seeing how long their recovery took and just their opinions about it. So I think one way to quantify it would be to send out the same survey just to people who used our brace and see what they think of it. So that's the initial idea. I'm sure going forward we'd have new ideas, and trial and error would play a role too.
Okay, thank you.
One last question. Oh, sorry, Steve. One last question related to the one before. I mean, have you guys thought at all about integrating the app capability with like a Fitbit or like some of the devices that people normally would use, their Apple Watch, et cetera, so that it could potentially prod them to do more exercises to work on certain areas?
Initially, we do want to just focus on the app because that'll be just a whole project in itself, but that's definitely something we would consider. It's a great idea. I know I use my Fitbit every day, so I think everyone would be motivated to do it if that was connected somehow. So that's definitely something we can consider potential in the future.
So,
can I sneak in a question?
Yes, please.
So this is actually common. I don't know if you've looked in applications outside of the human body, but with people, but we have a company in the Innovation Hub, Horsepower Technologies, which has developed and brought to market a device similar to what you're proposing. So separately, I'm not a judge. I'm just a harasser in the audience. But you should have a conversation with them after the fact. Molly Romani is the CEO, great guy, and he could really help. They've looked at doing their application in people, so they could help you understand some of the challenges that you'll face in making that transition.
Yes, thank you so much. We'll definitely look into that.
Good.
Thank you, Steve, for the advice. Thank you for the team. The next one we're coming up, prepare your presentation, is Green Wall Project or Living Wall Projects. Presented by Hannah West. She's a public health majors and with a minor in business.
Thank you, Ha. Hello, I am Hannah West, a senior in public health here at UMass Lowell, and this is my Living Wall project. So a major problem at UMass Lowell is the need for more green space on campus. With Lowell's population on the rise, as well as UMass Lowell's student enrollment, this has increased traffic and congestion tremendously. Locations such as University Crossing and Wilder Street are especially affected by pollution because they are located adjacent to bus stops. These bus stops combined have over 240 visits daily just from the university transportation buses alone. And these stops can last for up to 5 minutes each, according to state law. According to Plume Labs, the air in Lowell is moderately polluted. The particulate matter is greater than the maximum limit established for 1 year by the World Health Organization, and a long-term exposure constitutes a health risk. The idling buses combined with Lowell commuters has caused volatile organic compounds in the air indoors and outdoors to reach a dangerous level, and something needs to be done to protect the health of its residents. With UMass Lowell's growing and dense population, this campus offers an opportunity to greatly impact the health and well-being of over 20,000 students, faculty, and staff for many years to come. Due to the campus city spatial constraints, there is a limited opportunity for forests and gardens, but we are offered the opportunity to build vertically. When overcoming environmental issues, there comes an opportunity for educating students that share an interest for the environment and engagement in the research and implementation process. The students and staff are in need of a green haven where they can de-stress, be productive, and breathe clean air. Living walls are a vertical greening typology where a vertical built structure is intentionally covered by vegetation. The general structure of a living wall is shown on the image at the top of the slide, and as you can see, it starts with a waterproof layer to protect any current infrastructure it may be built on, such as the wall behind it, windows, or flooring. And then there is a steel structure to hold the wall together, followed by an integrated irrigation system that is self-contained, and then the growing planter, which is often in a shelf formation, and then the plants themselves. Building living walls at prime locations first, such as University Crossing and McGovern Student Center, would help to optimize its benefits. This would be the first living wall on UMass Lowell campus, but has been seen effective at many other locations in Massachusetts, including Kronos Incorporated in Lowell. And this can also act as guidance for more universities to follow. Living walls maximize space and allow for the greatest benefits indoors. Studies have shown they are especially beneficial in a work environment because of their abilities to improve productivity and creativity, reduce ambient noise, increase feeling of well-being and overall health, and purify the air. The Living Wall project has been supported by the Office of Sustainability on campus, and they have agreed to help manage the maintenance and growth of the living walls over time, along with the students. For maintaining living walls, most models are self-watered systems with integrated irrigation. And if any watering, trimming, or replacing of plants on these walls are needed, this can be done in accordance with student clubs and organizations on campus, such as Society of Environmental Science Students, Sustainability Club, and Climate Change Coalition. As for the growth and expansion of building more living walls, this initial construction can act as a demo learning experience for environmental engineering students and can be replicated in the near future using student grants and club fundraising. This project is not just about one wall, it is about creating a series of many walls that can continually increase benefits to the environment. There are many resources needed to get the Living Wall project off the ground running. For the cost, it varies greatly based on the companies, types of plants, and the size. And it will typically cost between $3,000 and $7 per a 30 square foot wall. There are additionally many key players needed for this project to be a success. I've contacted students on campus that have already shown interest in being involved. University grounds and operations have given the project their full support, along with the Office of Sustainability. Thank you so much for your time and consideration for my project.
Thank you, Hannah. I have a question for the teams, please.
So I guess the first question I would ask is, so this is more of an environmental social consciousness play, it sounds like, right? You're not necessarily looking to make this a profit-making enterprise. Am I right in guessing that?
Correct, yes.
That's cool. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys have, are aware of Frederick Olmsted and the Emerald Necklace project that he was responsible for in the early days of the formation of the United States. But without that impetus, we wouldn't have Central Park, we wouldn't have some of the amazing green spaces that exist in the country, because they would have just been, plowed over for commercial purposes. I feel like maybe this is a modern version of that. That we could probably turn this into a sort of larger cause. I mean, whether it starts with academic institutions and it spreads out from there or not is sort of like up to you guys to sort of think about. But I wanted to put that out there. I think they're very beautiful from a design perspective also. They're very hot. I've actually run events where I've brought in living walls because they're just beautiful and sort of, they create sort of a focal point and a gathering place. And so it's interesting. Can you talk a little bit about what you wanted to do as a next step with this to sort of expand this idea?
Yeah, so I have been in contact with some students that also work for the Office of Sustainability and have shown interest. So I'm hoping to kind of train them and sort of get them in contact with the resources that I have so far, and hopefully have them take the project to the next steps.
I had a very similar question, and I think probably you've answered it somewhat, but I think that was a great point about when we think about sustainability. I always think of it in two ways. One way is the environmental sustainability, and the other is the sustainability of the project. How does the project go on and grow and affect more people? And I think you've given a little bit of thought to that, and I kind of want have you kind of consider where it might go. Talking about Frederick Law Olmsted, for example. You have any thoughts about how you could make this sustainable in the longer term? would there be fundraising that would go with it? Would it be, is there some way to make it economically sustainable too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm hoping that sort of the university can kind of take this first initial project and sort of run with it through the Office of Sustainability and through clubs. And I was hoping that possibly I could get in contact with environmental and engineering students, and they could sort of watch the process unfold and learn from it. And then in the future, they could build the walls themselves, and that way it would be cheaper. And they could possibly make it larger and in more locations as well.
It seems to me that there's a possibility of kind of becoming a Johnny Appleseed on this thing too, that if you build these walls, it could become a sustainable, maybe nonprofit enterprise, though, where you would be able to use the walls you build to encourage other people to build the walls and pay you to build the walls, and kind of just grow it all over the place. Just a thought.
Yeah, that's definitely a goal, and I'm not anticipating that right away, but hopefully the effect that I can cause through just the first couple walls can eventually lead somewhere to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hannah, and thank you, the judges. Next teams, please. Happy Pinnings. This team, including Happy Van Patel, she's a graduate student in business administrations. Akit Patel, also graduate student in finance and management. Kevin Zhang, sophomore in computer science, and Fanil Patel, junior in mechanical engineering. Team, please.
Hi, I'll just share my screen. Hello everyone, I hope you're all practicing being safe and healthy. My name is Happy Patel and I'm doing MBA now. My other teammates are Fanil Patel, Ankit Patel, and Gavin Jang, who's also joining us. And our unique idea challenge is Happy Pinning. The problem is that I assume that at least once in your lifetime you have seen a woman wear a sari at an event or in movies. It's different, right? It's so beautifully worn that represents Indian traditional culture. However, it's not simple to drape a sari. Saris are usually 3.5 to 9 yards long. They're just long piece of cloth that you see in the slide. The man is holding green and red sari. They don't have sleeves, they don't have buttons, and they're also heavy decorated with crystal stones or thick thread designs. As you can see, Nick Jonas's wife, Priyanka Chopra Jonas, is wearing a sari that has borders of crystal stones on it. Now imagine manually safety pinning that sari with layers of pellets and crystal stones. It's very difficult and time consuming. Many times a safety pin bends, which causes accidental bleeding. There's a lot of effort, and so as a team, we decided to put a stop to this problem of a unique idea to change from manually safety pinning to machinery safety pinning. That brings us next to the opportunity. I did a research on Indian market. According to the NSSO, they did a survey about 100K households and concluded that 8 out of 10 houses in India have at least one sari, or regions in India wear a sari where they all use safety pins. In the USA market, there are 4.4 million Indians in the USA. Estimated 40% of them are women. That's about 1.76 million women market opportunity. I also did a self-survey. I did a survey with my friends and family, to 20 of them, and 18 out of 20 have at least 3 or more saris, and 20 out of 20 are very unhappy with the experience of safety pinning their sari. My inspiration for our solution. So before paper stapler was invented, people used wax or ribbons to put stack of papers together. Now no one really does that. Now everyone just uses paper stapler, right? So that's where the solution comes in. We as a team decided to do a machinery safety pin stapler. As you can see in the pictures, that it will be a stapler. There'll be a top safety pin, which will be very thin, and it will be a metal, so it will not damage the clothes. We will make sure of that. And there's a bottom safety pin that will close the pin. And we will make sure that this pin is detachable so that consumers can detach the safety pin themselves. They wouldn't need another machine or anything. This solution will be effortless, quick, and neat, and painless. This will stop the hurting hand, the bleeding, the wasting time, and basically there will be no effort needed, just one squeeze and that's it. Our target market as of now is Indian community. However, we have realized that there's a wider market which we would have to do a market research on. Our target group is 18 to 50 because that's when Indian women start wearing saris and continue wearing sari. Estimated, like I said before, 1.76 million Indian women is our market opportunity, and we have decided that we will try to sell our product at Target or Jones Fabric, and also we will advertise at Indian events because those are the people who really need this safety pin more as of now. For calculation for the USA market, I also did a same survey with same 20 of my friends and family and asked them how much they're willing to buy a stapler for, and they said that they are willing to buy a stapler for $14.99, which was the cheapest option given from $17.99 and $20.99. Goal is to sell 500 units. That's 6,000 units per year. So cost will be $42,000 and profit will be about $47,000. And then resources, we as a group are requesting $7,000 more for a unique idea of machinery stapler. For next few months, we will be doing a computer-aided design through reputable software on Shape, which is about $1,500 a year. Then we will be doing development, prototype, and right now we have a design. We are thinking of making it better and changing it, and that will take some time. Then we'll be doing a test product and then patent our product, which is about $5,000 to $7,000. And we are planning to have a product being produced by a reputable manufacturer. And for a wider market, we will have to do a market research. We could use SurveyMonkey, which is about $75 per month, or something better. This is a slide showing how Indian women drape a sari and the places that they use safety pins to put it together. This is just few of them. There's a lot more to make it neat, beautiful, and doesn't fall off.
Thank you. Happy Ben.
This is it. Thank you so much. Ask me right now. Ask us.
Please, the question for the team, please.
I'll start. Thank you for the presentation. Certainly the saris are beautiful garments, so I think you're onto something here. My question is, at this point I know you haven't really developed a prototype, and you showed a picture of like a mini stapler and something that's supposed to be easy to use and, you know, easy to kind of reach around the body. I guess my question is, how big are you envisioning this to really be? And you know, I'm concerned that, you know, staplers can be kind of kludgy at sometimes too, especially when you're working with, you know, heavy fabric that these garments have. So what's your plan for, or what are you envisioning for the size and usability of the of this device?
So the plan is, as of now, the plan is to sell it and target Indian community in the USA, because in the year there's like about more than 20 events that Indians attend at different culture events, and I have noticed that there are other people who like sell earrings or other garments by advertising their products and selling it. However, at those events, I would like to advertise this product and let people know that this is something that exists and see their respond. And if they really like it, if they're willing to buy it, then that would be a great market for me. But in the future, I do think that a lot of Asian people, like many people in Asia, like China and Cambodia, uses a safety pin, and they could be using this machinery safety pin stapler. So that's something that I would think about doing once I see how this product is going here in the USA with the Indian community.
Okay, thank you.
I had a couple questions. You have a mechanical engineer on the team, and I'm wondering if you've looked at the possibility of being able to engineer these so that they could be 3D printed. That was the one question. The other thing that I worried about is that the top safety pin I worry a little bit about safety, you know, in that sense of using a metal staple on that, and just wonder how you, you know, kind of came to the design that you have, and if you've given any thought for how this eventually might be manufactured.
So once I came up with this idea, I talked to Ha. She told me that try this idea out legit with like a old Saree and then just safety pin it with staple it with the paper stapler and try it out if I really like it. And I also tried it out on my Saree, and then I also talked to my friends, and then we all tried it out on the same old Saree. And it wasn't the perfect result because it's for paper, right? But then it did work, and from that, I think we would like to move forward. We would like to move forward with it because it will. From that experience, we believe that it will work. However, we haven't got to that point, so that will be our next step.
So I guess my question is, I think one of the questions that Cindy was alluding to earlier was sort of not so much the scale of your marketplace, but the size of the actual fasteners that you were planning to make. I think she was talking about sort of the scale of the device with regard to the human body. But my question to you is, I think what you're stumbling upon in trying to solve the Saree problem is that you stumbled upon a potential for a new form of temporary fastener. And I think that is, if you sort of pivot a little bit and you think about this as a new way to fasten things that are fabric potentially, you could open up a huge marketplace for yourself. For example, set designers, costume designers, bridal gowns. There's a whole series of places where temporary fastenings that are a bit more customizable, you know, would come into play. I think you guys might need a little more work on the engineering bit of it, just to sort of have a proof of concept and then figure out whether that's scalable from like a different sort of size, needs, requirements, kinds of, you know, there's like a depth of, there's depth issues, there's width issues, there's sort of, you know, materials issues. It seems like maybe there's more engineering work to be done on that.
Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah.
We have to work on the engineering part a little more as a team.
Okay, one last question. Are you at all concerned about damaging the fabric, and how do you get them out once you're done?
So yes, I do came across that question. So that is why we are going to make sure that the top safety pin is very thin, that every clothes have holes. They are made with thread, so it's not naked to our eyes, but they do have very small holes. So we will try to make sure that our safety pin is very thin, that it does not damage the clothes to the least. And as you can see the solution side, we will try to have like a switch or a button on the side where they can clip on it, and then it can just come apart, the safety pins.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, teams, and thank you, the judges. Next team, please. Next team, Mission Hydro. Teams comprised of Shavesh Handa, electrical engineering, Adish Arashu's physics majors, Ali Semesi, mechanical engineering, and Ryan Bishline, mechanical engineering.
Hi, Ha. Thank you very much for the introduction. Hi, so my name is Sarvesh Handa, and I'm currently an electrical engineering and computer science major at UMass Lowell. And together, we are Team Mission Hydro. Mission Hydro promises to deliver an all-new and innovative hydrogen energy storage system that will save small businesses and homeowners significant energy costs by reducing their dependence on the expensive and non-renewable electric grid. These overhead energy costs are some of the largest financial obligations for small businesses that can significantly reduce profitability and growth over the long term. And with over 28 million small businesses in the US and over 35% of them having energy costs as a top 3 business expense, this is a major problem that we think needs fixing. The second problem our solution addresses is the intermittency of renewables such as solar, whose inconsistent power output has become a major hindrance to their scale and integration into the modern energy infrastructure. Such technologies like solar are cheaper than fossil fuels, yet they only decarbonize around 18% of our national energy consumption. In an effort to fight climate change, we need zero carbon fuels, and we need long-term energy storage to make solar viable, and our hydrogen-based solution fits both bills. Mission Hydro aims to capitalize on a rapidly growing demand by businesses for flexible, renewable energy supply to manage their expenses and reduce their carbon footprint. With solar currently leading the way for renewables, our product will seize a strong opportunity to help residences and small businesses trim down their energy costs with zero carbon emissions. With our solution, we employ clean hydrogen storage technology, an industry that is expected to grow to a record $18.2 billion by the year 2024, with the largest market share being here in North America. And with over 63% of power on the electric grid coming from non-renewables such as fossil fuels, our solution will not only increase the appeal of renewable technology as a whole, but it will also minimize greenhouse emissions by using hydrogen as a fuel that has the capability of reducing CO2 emissions by 6 gigatons per year by the year 2050.
Our solution uses hydrogen fuel cells and solar technology to make hydrogen cleanly and consistently. We store excess power in the form of hydrogen using a proton exchange membrane electrolyzer. The generated hydrogen is then passed through a proton exchange membrane fuel cell to make electricity on demand. Other hydrogen companies use non-renewables to generate their hydrogen and don't use them in the same way. This gives us an edge over our competitors by allowing us to cleanly make hydrogen consistently and eliminating power supply gaps common in solar renewables. We can also perform long-term storage of hydrogen. The compact form will enable easy scalability as power demands rise and into larger buildings. In 2019, the Eland project conducted in Los Angeles proved that renewables combined with effective storage mediums like our product are already starting to make economic sense.
1 kilogram of hydrogen can store 40,000 watt-hours of energy, compared to the same amount of lithium-ion batteries that can only hold 207 watt-hours of energy. This energy density advantage with lower rate of self-discharge gives us an advantage over similar solutions such as Tesla Powerwall for seasonal and long-term energy storage. The hydrogen energy storage market is currently saturated by companies that employ the use of hydrogen energy storage through power to gas, which relies on the supply and injection of natural gas into the pre-existing grid. They have not yet targeted residential customers as they focus on larger industrial accounts, leaving the residential and light commercial hydrogen market virtually untouched.
Mission Hydro needs funding estimated from $4,000 to $7,000 to source parts and construct our prototype. Funds will be immediately used to support short-term needs such as leasing equipment to perform specialized lab testing and further expanding our market research over the summer of 2020. We plan on constructing our prototype over the next 5 to 6 months, followed by testing it at small businesses and commercial buildings over the fall. Simultaneously, funds will also be used for patent expenses, design refinement, and the turning of our solution from patent pending to market ready by the end of 2021. Overall, Mission Hydro aims to help accelerate the fight against climate change and bring the green and renewable future closer to becoming a reality. We will help residences and businesses usher into a new renewable energy era powered by zero carbon fuel. Disrupt the energy storage industry with us. We hope you support our journey to the renewable future. Thank you.
Thank you, team. Let's have a question for the team, please.
Yeah, I have a quick question. So certainly what you're trying to do makes a lot of sense. It's you know, something that should be focused on, you know, the reduction of our reliance on fossil fuels and carbon emissions. I think it's really a great thing. I guess my question is, do you have any concerns for other emissions, non-carbon emissions like nitrogen dioxide, which is also toxic to humans if ingested? So just curious if there's been any other concern for other emissions.
With our hydrogen solution, the only emission is water, because the way we produce, the way an electrolyzer works is hydrogen and water combine with the use of electricity, and you can do the process backwards to get electricity instead. So either we get electricity from water, or we get water from electricity, and we have found a method to work interchangeably within these two methods, and that is how our product works in its essence.
I guess the piece that I'm kind of not fully understanding here, first of all, I mean, the systems approach you're taking is absolutely a good one, and it needs to happen. But I'm trying to figure out where you fit in this whole thing, because the idea of coupling, renewable energy sources to create hydrogen, which then can be used to power things, that's been around for a while. Mm-hmm. And then a new hydrogen energy storage solution. That has been a key problem in the thing, because you either have to store it as a pressurized gas, which turns out to be pretty dangerous. There's hydrogen sponge technologies. There's cryo technologies, and so on. Where do you see yourself? What is your competitive advantage? What are you going to do that's different than others that have worked in this field? Thank you.
Well, we're going to try to make it as safe as possible. Obviously, you have to store it at a very high pressure. That can be very dangerous. But we want to make it as safe as possible with existing technologies. There are high pressure storage tanks out there already. So we're going to try to use that to make it as safe as possible for the average homeowner. It has been done a few times in the past. There is an engineer in New Jersey who made his entire house powered by this, and he has specialized tanks for it. So we would be trying to research something like that.
So staying with that, how stable is it? I mean, is that a big concern?
Safety is a concern just because it is at a very high pressure. However, assuming everything is taken care of, it shouldn't be as much of a safety concern. If leaks happen, the hydrogen immediately or almost immediately changes over into water, so you'd have a damp room rather than a very flammable gas leak.
Yes, and going off of that, we understand that there is obviously kind of a concern about hydrogen. When people mention hydrogen, there's typically a concern about planes blowing up or the Hindenburg, for example. Mm-hmm. However, recent technological innovations have kind of shown that this is not really the case with the amount of technology that we have today. Toyota and various other automaker companies use and develop hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, and they employ hydrogen tanks in their systems. So just like our typical gasoline cars, these hydrogen fuel cell vehicles employ hydrogen storage tanks that are typically stored at around 10,000 psi. However, with the advancement of technology, a lot of technological innovations have taken place where the compression of hydrogen is kept in a very safe manner, in a very safe temperature, using polymer-lined layers inside the hydrogen tanks. And this can also be done using carbon fiber reinforced polymer to provide even more strength to the tank. And another advantage of hydrogen is that it is actually lighter than air. So if there is any leak in any sort of system, whether that be in a car or in an energy storage device like ours, this hydrogen gas will not automatically just rise up in the air vertically, and it won't be causing any sorts of problems regarding combustion. So overall, this technology has been proven and done before in terms of keeping hydrogen as safe as possible in the past. And we're going to be just capitalizing on that opportunity and making sure that during our prototyping and our final project development that we have the best safety and the best technology in our tanks as possible.
Okay, so as a follow-up, in a traditional single-family home, how big is this? You can see this unit to be?
So we actually have a prototyping specification slide, and our targeted dimensions for a prototype at the moment for a 400 to 500 watt unit is around 6 by 5 by 7 feet. So typically this is something that could fit inside in a garage, in a basement, or even externally. This system overall will be storing around 190 liters of hydrogen compressed at around 700 bar. Comparing that to what Toyota's hydrogen fuel cell cars store their hydrogen at, they typically store their hydrogen at around 900 bar. So we're actually storing it at a lower pressure, which automatically obviously increases safety and decreases the risk of any leaks. So right now we have targeted dimensions for our prototype, and we don't expect it to take up an incredible amount of space when compared to the other appliances that people typically have in their basement or outside their homes.
I think
Okay,
that's the
thank
time's up for.
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. The time's up for the question and answer sections. Thank you for the team, and thank you the teams, and thank you judges. Next teams coming up is Micro Fabric Projects. Team include Justin Simone, he's a graduate student from Community Social Psychologies. Benjamin Chaco, he's an alumni in computer engineering, and Robert Simone, and his sales and marketings. Team Micro Fabrics Projects, please. Justin, are you ready? You have to unmute.
Okay, sorry. Sorry about that. So I'm Justin Simone from Micro Fabrics, and I'm a community social psychology student at UMass Lowell. So the problem is right now in 2020, food and crop productions are not meeting the demand right now. People are hungry in the United States and America right now. And we're currently not even producing enough crops right now in 2020. And if we look past, according to this study, in 30 years, we have to double our crop production by then. In order to do that, we have to increase our yield production by 2.4% a year. This is obviously due to rising populations, diet shifts to organic and vegan diets, food consumptions, industrialization and commercialization that are destroying lands, and also climate change. So last year in itself, in 2019, there was a 5% decrease in land acreage in the United States. And we can no longer use land because land is limited to increase growth and yields, especially since it's going away from technology and advances. Again, croplands are no longer improving on those areas because of this, and we must develop innovative ways to mechanically or biochemically enhance growth and yields of plants rather than actually destroying crop lands. So the opportunity is there's a huge rise in the organic industry, and also people spend $3.5 billion a year in growing supplies. Our invention is actually a smart fabric, and it's for agriculture and horticultural use. And a smart fabric is a fabric that in itself is functional through mechanical or biochemical ways, and it actually interacts and signals something. And so this industry right now is on the rise. And is expected to increase by 10% by 2025, and is already valued at $198 billion for the smart fabric industry, along with agriculture, food, and textiles, which contributes to $1.053 trillion. But the technology behind it is the microencapsulation technology. This technology has been around since 1964, and the company we're in talks with right now has been around for 50 years. They've developed and reduce costs, and the big growth with this industry right now is actually the new applicational uses for microencapsulation technology of smart fabrics. So our solution is our smart fabric to increase growth and yields of plants through an organic and naturally derived plant-based compound that is actually embedded into the fabric. Other examples on the market right now are like mattresses, cooling agents, essential oils embedded in them, warming yourself up. So it contains a natural polymer that's the shell, and the core material is the compound, and it actually interacts with plants, all plant biology. And I say all plant biology because it works with the basic biology in plants. They produce naturally phytochemicals or plant chemicals naturally occur and are required for increase in growth through cell division, stem elongation, apical dominance, which is like branching outward, and even increasing the weight. And studies found that this compound actually is not just safe for humans and actually used by humans, but is an alternative to synthetic compounds and non-toxic and will not interfere. Now, the fabric itself can be used to be made into fabric pots for people to use, which prevents root encircling and root boundness. And the fabric can be laid on top. It can be actually put on like inside fabric pots or plastic pots, and the roots will grow down and then outward towards it, pressing against it, and it actually releases it through pressure, friction, and diffusion. This actually, we have a utility patent right now, and our design patent is of a fabric pot for use with this, where you can actually shake and mix your organic composite soils and then actually put it into the ground. And since it's a hemp-based fabric, it takes 3 months to grow. We're capable of growing that too. There's a huge industry and growth with that industry too right now for multiple years.
Justine, your time is up.
Okay.
Please, question for the teams.
So do you have a functioning prototype now? I'm sorry, I wasn't clear. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so we have, so I'm just going to go forward real quick. So we don't have a prototype of the actual microencapsulated fabric because we're in talks with the company and they need more information. And so I'm looking for people that have more of a business degree to help communicate without relaying too much information about the actual compound. The companies we're working with right now, some of them, like the fabric manufacturer, has signed NDAs, and so has the final manufacturer of the product, which are all local right now. We do have prototypes of like the fabric itself, but we can't get that done yet. And we also have a prototype right now of the fabric pot. And our competitors right now on the market for like microencapsulation is only available through this application through agriculture and horticulture are pesticides microencapsulated as when it comes to smart fabrics, but also for fabrics like pots, which are very beneficial, and everyone should convert to these because plastic ones do not let airflow inside, which roots require oxygen, and fabric pots prevent overwatering too from it expelling out. So fabric pots are on the rise right now and currently, and our manufacturer has been lab testing, and we're reverse engineering other fabrics. And also they come in different colors to decrease or increase the pot by 2% for the roots. So like in cold and warm environments, depending on the type of fabric you need. And you can wrap it around in burlap sacks, like around roots of trees, and it's penetrable. So the fabric itself, the roots grow through it and puncture it, and so it'll absorb, and it's non-toxic to the environment, and same with the hemp fabric itself, which would be organic through a company we are currently in talks with too.
And in terms of your distribution,
Pending?
Sorry, Jack, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just was asking about, you said you had a utility patent pending?
Yeah, we have a utility and design patent. So what you see right now is the design patent, but with utility patent involved. So I took the functions of everything in 2 different fabrics, did a utility patent on that along with the function of this pot, but I have a design patent of this fabric pot, which has onboard tie-down system, so you can hook on tie-downs for your branches, reduce height, remove branches so flowers or bud sites can get direct sunlight. It's movable. It also extends upward, and you'll be able to actually, with the measuring lines, people tend to mix their soil, so you do like 20% perlite, worm meal, and so these lines will do it in the percentages, and then you extend this up, And as you can see where the things are. And then you would just slide this down like this and then tie it, and then you can shake it up. And then it mixes your soil and you can put it directly in the ground. Now, if you get the polypropylene version, which is recyclable, and there is a company right now that is on the verge of making it into a virgin staple fiber, so it recycles everything and purifies it. It's one of the safest on the environment, and it's one of the competitors' main things right now. And also the competitors are, it's very floppy. The specifications are, there's many properties to the fabrics, like tensile properties, such as like elongation and strength, textile properties, water flow rate, so how much water will flow out of it and stuff. So basically right now we have so this is our business. We're a future limited liability company. We have a website that's 90% done. We have the micro fabrics. We're basically right now trying to manufacture. We know that it will cost us 97 cents for the black polypropylene for an entire 6-gallon, 5-gallon pot. And they, oh yeah, I don't see it there, but they average so fabric pots average anywhere from $6 to $35 a piece, depending if it's synthetic or naturally made fabric. And I also made the logo ourselves, and we're going to be assigning the patents to the company. We're looking for, it's cost us $15,000 to manufacture the black polypropylene, but in total that can make 30,000 pots at 97 cents a piece for the material. And then we right now everything just got shut down because of the epidemic, so we're kind of on hold right now for making everything.
So your plan is really to sell pots mostly because you got the patents there and so on. And I know that the fabric itself, I mean, I've even seen Shark Tank where they roll out fabric and so on and so forth. So you're kind of seeing yourself as the next stage in the value chain of actually delivering pots and other kinds of devices. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, correct. So we're going to be using science and engineering to solve problems and inefficiencies with the horticultural and agriculture industries. And we're growers ourselves, gardeners, and I've been growing since 19. So there's a lot of time and money into costs and maintenance that needs to be reduced by having multifunctional products rather than having 8 million products to do individual things. Also, one of the best resources we have available to us is UMass Lowell Fabric Discovery Center, which is actually dedicated to smart fabrics and designing, creating, and lab testing.
Well, thank you, teams, and thank you, judges. Next team, please. No Snow Mad team. Teams including Conrad Nelson's is a chemical engineering, Emily Philpott, mechanical engineering, Tink Huing, mechanical engineering, Michael Milkov, computer science, Tatiana Tompkins, economics, Kashin Chan, computer science. Teams No Snow Mad, please.
All right. Yeah, we're done. No.
Judges, my name is Tatiana Tompkins, and I'm a business and economics major here at UMass Lowell. My team consists of 7 undergrad students and 1 graduate student. Tin and Emily are mechanical engineering majors. Michael is a computer engineering major. Isaac and Shan are computer science majors. Conrad is a chemical engineering major, and Mitchell is a plastics engineering major. And we are No Snow Mad. The #1 problem with snowfall is the cleanup. Snowblowers cost thousands of dollars, and shoveling out your car every morning requires some serious time and effort. Right now, it is estimated that 12,000 injuries and over 200 deaths are related to snow shoveling every individual year. This includes cardiac arrest, slipping on ice, and even getting your fingers chopped off in a snowblower. That's why we created No Snow Mat. No Snow Mat is an easy-to-roll-up mat for your driveway that clears snow and ice in as little as 10 minutes. Through your smartphone device, you're able to power on and off your No Snow Mat along with setting a timer so that the snow is completely removed before you hit your morning commute. Each snow mat has easy-to-roll cables for simple storage, along with using less than 2% of the power as your average heated driveway. We also included a hexagon design to minimize material costs and make each individual mat lightweight for simple moving and storage. Since our mission at No Snow Mat is to eliminate all work involved in home driveway snow removal, we created the No Snow Top, which is the same thing as the No Snow Mat, but just goes on the top of your vehicle instead. The No Snow Top connects to the front and back bumper of your car and eliminates the use of a snow brush or an ice scraper since it will melt away the snow directly on your car. We also created the No Snow app, which is available for any smartphone or smart home device. First, you'll click onto My Mats, and from there you'll connect to your mat's unique QR code, which is presented on the top right corner of your mat. From there, you'll select which mat you want to use and press either the melt button or the preset time frame so that way the snow is already melted off before you even step outside. We also encourage people to use our app because we'll have advertisements built in to build revenue. Through our research and development, we were able to see that 70% of Americans live in a snowy region. Of that 70%, there are 65 million households who have a driveway. Of that 65 million, there are 52% of middle to upper class adults who have to wake up early and have to shovel at the end of their driveway if it snows. This results in over 30 million people that have to take part in this laborious task. Right now, we're estimating a $92.99 profit margin for each individual mat sold. If the typical household uses 2 mats and we're able to reach only 1/100% of our market, we'll be reaching over $500,000 in profit just by selling 6,000 units. Right now, we're seeking $6,000 in funding. With that $6,000, we'll be testing various heat wire temperatures, programming our No Snow app, forming an LLC, and buying enough materials to manufacture our first 20 mats by winter of 2020. We're also working on our marketing campaign and our Kickstarter campaign to build brand awareness and additional capital by fall 2020. Thank you for listening. My name is Tatiana Tompkins, and we are No Snow Mat. We're open to any questions you may have. Thank you, judges.
Thanks for the presentation. Certainly living in New England my whole life, it certainly could be something considered as a cool gadget and had some broad appeal, especially in our snow-ridden areas. So did you say that the price point was $92.99? Is that what I heard, or did you say that was a profit margin?
Yes, so that's a profit margin. Let me see if I can pull this up through our index. Also, is my team members and?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool, perfect.
Hello?
Oh, Conrad's on. Okay, perfect. Yes. So that would be just for the profit margin. We have it in our slides. If let me see.
Yeah, in the appendix.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Okay. Yeah, I can explain this. Hi, I'm Conrad. So for the price point, so we talked to about 160 people and we asked what they would pay for a mat like this that you could place at the end of your driveway so you don't have to shovel in the morning. You can just back out and there's no snow. So most people said between 200 and 300, and a lot said they're about 250. So that's the price that we are setting right now. But that could change also depending on the cost. But the costs are pretty much about $150, $160 for each mat. So we see the price being from 200 to 250 being reasonable and good for a margin.
So my understanding from reading your overview was that you'd be anticipating that maybe a normal household would need 2 to 4 of these. I know you have some limitations on the size, and obviously there's going to be variability in the size of driveways, which, if everybody has to conform to the size that you're talking about, that potentially limits your market. Do I have that right?
Right. So all driveways are different sizes. So we looked up the average size is about 640 square feet. And no matter how big the driveway is, we find our mats will be most necessary at the ends where there's the most snow and where you need it clear in order to leave for work or school in the morning. So that's why we figure most people would get maybe just 1 or 2, but depending on your needs, you could get as many as you find necessary.
So each of your mats is going to be about 1.5 kilowatt, and you're assuming 2 mats, so you're going to be running about 3 kilowatt, which is a pretty heavy electrical load. But I'm wondering how durable they are for cars driving on them. Have you tested that?
Yeah, it's a very thin mat. The metal heating element is embedded inside the rubber mat, and the heating element won't get past about 120 degrees. And to put that into perspective, about 150 degrees is just about too hot to touch for people. So the mats will be not too hot to melt the rubber or the tires or cause harm if you step on it. But yeah, but yep.
Also, something that we're focusing on, and the reason for the funding that we're asking for is because we actually received funding from the engineering prototype competition. So with that, we used that money to actually build our prototype for this competition. And with that type of prototype, with this development and doing different research and data, we were able to see that we might need a thicker and more durable material. So we've been able to test back and forth with different amounts of snow and ice, which is different levels of temperature, because it wants ice and obviously it wants snow, which is accumulated over time. But we were able to see that we actually need to test which material would be more durable and would actually still be able to be touched, but does enough for the snow removal at the same time.
Okay. And I think you also claimed in your document that the product is the only one be on the market of its kind that would melt accumulated snow. And I think I saw something also that said that whether it's a foot of snow or 2 inches of snow, it's going to melt in 10 minutes. How is that? How does that happen?
So we actually, so as you can see, you're able to still see the slides, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So right here, this photo, we actually tested our prototype at Songus Arena in Lowell, and we used the snow from there, and it actually melted the ice that we had, which takes longer. As you would know, it takes longer to melt ice rather than snow. So we actually used the ice, and that melted in 10 minutes. I mean, in under 20 minutes through our original prototype. So we were able to actually test out. We used ice, so that way it was longer. Like it took longer time to actually melt. So we were able to estimate that with the snow itself, it would be less than that.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I think you're on mute.
Yes, hi, you're on mute.
Ah, that was the problem.
Sorry. So next team is Smart Escape. Thank you for these notes, Smart. And we move on to the 8th team for tonight is Smart Escape. Team including Kevin Haley, Electrical Engineering, Andrew Regan, Aerospace Engineering, Kevin Giacuma, Computer Engineering, Noah Boudreau, Public Health, Alexander Menezes, Finance, Kevin Downings, he's actually in high school, and Benjamin Sangiles, Environmental Engineering.
Thank you, Hal, for that introduction.
Go ahead, sorry.
All right, thank you for the introduction once again. As you just heard, we have a very large and diverse team. We have people in mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer science, finance, and business. And even though we are mostly comprised of freshmen, this project has been 4 years in the making and started when I was a freshman in high school. The problem that we're trying to solve is that fire spreads rapidly through non-residential buildings. People can freeze or think irrationally during these stressful situations. Current systems take a reactive approach, which means it just tells you that there's a fire somewhere in the building. It provides no knowledge on where the fire is located in the building. This can cause a huge problem because people can walk closer to the fire in their attempts to escape, which can be deadly. Not knowing where the fire is located in a building is also a problem for first responders, as they cannot quickly look for people who may be trapped inside. When fire spreads, it can cause a very chaotic set of circumstances. These chaotic set of circumstances take place during the hundreds of thousands of building fires every year, costing billions of dollars in damages. But what's most important, though, is that thousands of people are being severely injured and killed by these fires. The front line to help prevent these fires is the fire protection system. This is why the fire protection systems market in North America is growing at a yearly rate of around 10%. The global fire protection system market is estimated to reach $95 billion by 2025 from the current $75 billion in 2020. Our target customer base is vast, ranging from educational institutions, hotels and motels, commercial centers, and sporting venues. It is correct that standard fire alarms do their job in letting you know that there is a fire. But how do you know that the path out of the building is safe? Our solution takes the standard fire alarm system and makes it an adaptive system. Normal systems prompt people to exit the building via the fastest route they know, but the Smart Escape system leads people to the safest exit out of the building. It does this by taking the input from the smoke detectors to triangulate where the fire is located and lead people away from that location, which is the safest exit. This is accomplished through the use of small custom indicators mounted along the lower walls. The indicators are designed in such a way that when looking in one direction, there are green lights, and when looking the other direction, there are red lights. Green points to the safe routes of egress, while red points to the fire, which speeds up the response of the first responders. The Smart Escape system operates with a business-to-business sales model. The first step in our sales process is to offer an evaluation of the existing system and an optional consultation on how to improve it, and then a quote of the Smart Escape system installation. Consumer prices have not yet been determined, though the deficit cost to install the Smart Escape system is approximately $8,000 per 300 yards of hallway. The average school has approximately 2,000 yards of hallway, which would equate to around $50,000 in company deficit, though this may be subject to decrease as we find new vendors for components. Smart Escape provides the product, components, and the software, but the installation is done by an approved third-party vendor. Maintenance includes an inspection and software updates upon customer request, which can average at around $200 for required inspection and $500 for the software update. The system itself self-diagnoses itself and notifies consumers if there is a need for an urgent inspection. Prices are all on paper and estimates. We will be working with our prototype installation to finalize this structure. We have connections with local fire departments, high schools, and even Jacob Nudemacher, a state fire protection engineer. He has helped us ensure that the system meets all fire and building codes and has offered a huge amount of support and agrees with our problem. We also have a couple team advisors who are invaluable. Tim Healy, a fire inspection officer in Hopkinton, and Matthew Borghi, a master electrician. We plan to install our first prototype in Blackstone Valley Tech, a high school, with their cooperation. We are also looking for trademark and patent applications, primarily for our indicator mounts, which will cost around $5,000 to $7,000. We're also looking at UL certification to make sure that our product is safe to be put in a building, and we are creating installation procedures for electricians that will be installing our system. Thank you for acknowledging us as a finalist team. Our goal is to make your escape safe with Smart Escape. Thank you.
Thank you, the team. Please give the question for the team.
So you're installing a prototype at the Blackstone Valley Vocational Technical High School. Have you already discussed that with them and got that? Is that planned already?
That is currently already planned, correct.
And who's paying for that? Are they paying for that, or
the current plan is to have us pay for it because it is a demonstration, and we don't want to have them pay for something that could potentially have bugs. So we're still working with them in that sense.
It is considered a joint venture, though, so they're treating it as an educational opportunity for some of their students because it is a vocational high school. So ultimately, they will end up providing a lot of the necessary components, and it wouldn't have to be paid for on either parts because they're electrical students who would aid us in installing it.
Thank you.
Have you guys tied into fire departments and you know the health and safety community around how this will work and the schematics and etc.?
So currently, most buildings have a main fire alarm panel, and on this, it's an adjustable system. So it will tell you which smoke detector is going off. But the problem is, to actually retrieve that information, firefighters have to go to the main fire alarm panel, plug in a handheld communicator that they have, and then get the location of the smoke detector, which can take up to 1 minute and 30 seconds, where obviously seconds count. So our system will just, they arrive at the scene and they just walk in the building, and the red arrows or the red LEDs lead them directly to the fire or hazard.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's exciting. I mean, I guess my question was, have you you know, sense checked this or sort of, you know, pre-qualified this with professional firefighters?
So as Kevin mentioned earlier, we actually have spoken to at length with Jacob Nunemacher, and he is a Massachusetts State Fire Prevention Engineer who works directly under the fire marshal. It was him who helped us ensure that we met fire codes and whatnot, and a lot of his ideas and contributions have been taken into account during the development, and he's definitely helped us a lot, and a lot of it is to his specifications on what would most help first responders and how it would be more legally suitable.
And may I add, in addition to that, sorry, in addition to that, we have talked to a fire department at length. We talked with Hopkinton Fire Department at length, and that is originally where that we learned about that issue of location of the fire, because originally around 2 years ago we hadn't implemented that in our design, and that's where we originally learned that was a really big issue that fire departments faced. Was through that fire department. Just wanted to clear that up. Sorry.
So I'm looking at this photo that you have on your screen with a lot of wiring. So is this whole thing hardwired throughout the whole building?
So the picture you see on the slide is actually a demonstration model that we have. It's almost like a maze, and it shows how the safest exit is critical in these fire evacuations. But to answer your question, all smoke detectors right now in commercial buildings have to be hardwired. And we won't have to do any of that because our system is an additive system. So it adds to the system that's already there. We're just taking that information and giving it to people evacuating the building.
Right, but you have all these light signals that you're going to have throughout the building.
Correct.
Are those all hardwired?
Yes, they are all hardwired per fire code.
So you're going to have to somehow run all this wiring throughout the buildings?
Correct.
Okay. Is that going to be an issue when you're talking about school and corridors and all those things there? Is that a concern?
We've been working with our advisor, Matthew Borghi, who's a master electrician, on this problem. And we think that it would be fairly easy to do, fairly cheaply, because the lights actually don't take a lot of power. And the way that they're mounted is it's a strip. So it's not like we're mounting 1,000 LEDs. We're mounting 2 or 3 strands of LEDs.
Okay, thank you.
So have you given any consideration or have experienced to date any failure modes? I mean, what are you anticipating for potential failure modes of this design?
Well, failure modes is a huge part of this project. And as I said before, our system is an additive system. So we've programmed it to shut off if it's not 100% sure that the way that it's leading you is correct. It will shut off and people default to the normal system, right? So then you go to, okay, we have the predetermined plan. We're going the fastest way out. It will never show a incorrect path, if that's what you're wondering.
Yeah, per fire code, it would also include several redundant pathways. So it's actually highly unlikely that an event like that would happen. It's the same with the existing fire system. It's unlikely that it would face a critical error like that because of the redundant pathways, but that potential is there. So yeah, we did take that into account.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Team Smart Escape. Thank you, the judges. Next team's coming up, team number 9. the Smart Safety Outlet. This team, including David Holbrook-Smith, Electrical Engineering, Nashim Nagat, Business, Romeo Kayabayab, Electrical Engineering, Brian Carter, Electrical Engineering, Iyashu Verma, Electrical Engineering, and Dmitry Chichiknov, Mechanical Engineering. And Iyashu is the one who presents today.
Hi, I'm Divyanshu from the Smart Safety Outlet team. Our team realized that there is currently no way to prevent an accidental unplugging of a plugged-in appliance from in a wall outlet, aside from mechanisms that can easily be worked around. This poses a huge risk to children who are naturally curious and can be put in harm's way when near a wall outlet. Psychological studies have shown that young children are naturally attracted to human faces and objects that look like human faces, which is problematic since type AB outlets resemble a human face quite well. Every year, 2,400 children in the US are treated for injuries caused by outlets. Despite this, nearly 1/3 of all parents with young children don't childproof their outlets. While out of the ones who do, 86% use plastic caps. However, 40% agree that these caps can easily be removed by a toddler. This presents an opportunity for us. Our opportunity here is largely determined by two factors: the booming Internet of Things, or IoT market, and the increase in spending on baby-proofing products. While the IoT market boom provides us with an easy way to reduce danger to children, the baby-proofing market's 6.96% compound annual growth rate for the past 4 years and $1 billion spent annually on child safety products provides us with a large opportunity to market our device and become a profitable and well-known brand successfully. Now, I'm sure that you are wondering why no one else has done what we plan to do and come up with a safer alternative for plastic caps. And the truth is, others are competing with us in this field. However, our competition is small, limited to these 3 products and plastic caps, and does not provide what customers really need. None of these solutions provides full control to exclusively someone who is a responsible adult, while also providing a completely child-proof safety method in an easy-to-use package. Our solution. To solve all the problems with current devices and take advantage of the massive opportunity we have designed, our solution, the Smart Safety Outlet. We have designed our solution, the Smart Safety Outlet. Our device can be installed in 3 easy steps. First, the user can plug in the device into a standard wall outlet and screw the device into the faceplate of the outlet. Next, the user can plug in any appliance into our device. Finally, the user can connect to our device through a Wi-Fi connection, configuring the device to be controlled from a web-enabled device or smartphone through our custom-made user interface and lock in any plugged-in appliance wirelessly. Our solution employs the use of small holes on every type AB plug. Our device, essentially an IoT outlet adapter, slides a small locking pin through these holes at the user's command. Our device also functions as a regular smart outlet as well, providing the user with the ability to turn on and off any plugged-in appliance. Our business model is outlined here. In the interest of time, I won't go into the details of our model. However, it is discussed in depth in our appendix slides. One important thing to note here, however, is that our customer segments do not only include child-proofing parents, but also companies that run essential tasks on electronics that cannot be unplugged. Hospitals and daycares and schools. We simply choose to focus on parents with young children as our target audience for this presentation. Other applications for this device are also explained in further detail in our appendix slides. While our device is the physical solution to the problems we have discussed, we believe our business model is the part of our solution that will allow us to seize the opportunity we identified in the previous slides. Our team currently has $1,500 saved from the last competition we competed in, but we need more funds to continue our venture. We are hoping to develop our final prototype model and file for a patent for this device soon. Our costs for these plans are listed in this table. And in addition, we also plan on developing a plastic mold for our device to significantly lower the manufacturing costs and allow for mass production. So we would like to start saving money for this expenditure as soon as possible. Here's a simple timeline of what we have done so far and where we hope to go with the help of the funds given to us by this competition. Thank you very much on behalf of the Smart Safety Outlet team.
Thank you. And let's open the questions to the team, please.
So what this does, oh, go ahead.
Good. You go, Jack.
Oh, go ahead, Brian. Fine.
Okay, so this addresses a standard duplex plug. What about when today a lot of them aren't duplexes anymore? There's other features, USB. Does it address any of those things?
Hello. This is David Holdbrook. So our model addresses the duplex that's available in most of our current homes. But in our future considerations, we will be taking into account the new designs that are available in modern homes as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the primary function of this is to keep from unplugging things, because I think the electrical codes, modern National Electrical Code in Massachusetts, now do mandate the tamper-proof sockets, which are, prevent a child from, putting their fingers in there. So the main thing is to try to keep the child from unplugging things. Is that the idea?
Yes, it is important that appliances that are plugged in stay plugged. And also it's a safety measure to make sure that children do not endanger themselves. So most importantly, we want to make sure that appliances that are plugged in stay plugged in. And so prevent the children from electrocution.
And a lot of, just to add on that, a lot of homes in the US still aren't equipped with these DRRs. So this will also work for them as well.
All right. The locking mechanism is if it's obviously controlled through the internet, and then is it like a mechanical thing that goes through and engages the pins? How does that work?
Yes, so you can kind of see it here a bit better. This red pin right here, this red sliding pin, I'm not sure if you guys can see that very well, but this is actually connected to a servo motor that will slide, it's a rack and pinion style method, that will then slide this through the holes in the outlet over here, or the holes in the plug.
Is this something you would think of licensing to a manufacturer at some point?
Yep, so we actually discussed that in our appendix slides. We also, another application for our product is it could be used as a value add, as a product for somebody who already makes existing smart hubs.
All right, had any last question for the teams? If not, thank you, Team Smart Safety Outlet, and thank you, judges. Last team for presentation tonight is YPG. This team, including Grace Chuang, nursing major, Yihan Hout, finance majors, and Paul Joseph Blanchard, plastic engineering. And present for today is Grace Chuang.
Hello, we're YPG, and we want to make a difference in how we treat our ecosystems and in improving America's economy by reimagining surgical basements to be eco-friendly and produced right here in the USA. In order to practice healthcare procedures, hospitals must always have a sterile environment for their patients and healthcare professionals. To do this, their budget must include purchasing personal protection equipment.
Can I just hear her?
May I ask? Yeah, can you fix the voice, please? It's really hard to hear.
Oh, I think it might be my internet. Can you hear me now?
Your voice keep pacing out, and it's not clear.
Can you get closer to the microphone?
That's what I suggest, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Is this still lagging?
A little bit better.
Hi.
Hello?
Brian's going to pitch instead of me.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes, very well.
Okay, I'll pitch for her because do you hear me better?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
definitely.
sounds good.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna restart this slide. In order to practice healthcare procedures, hospital must always have a sterile environment for their patients and healthcare professionals.
Excuse me, can you restart from the beginning because we didn't got for the beginning parts as well. So let's start from the beginning and I time from the beginning then.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, we are YPG and we want to make a difference with how we treat our ecosystems and improving America's economy by reimagining surgical face masks to be eco-friendly and produced right here in the USA. In order to practice healthcare procedures, hospitals must always have a sterile environment for their patients and healthcare professionals. To do this, their budget must include purchasing personal protection equipment, or PPE, which is typically one use only and must be disposed of afterwards. By now, you've probably seen surgical face masks all over the news as they are being purchased, used, and discarded of at an accelerated rate worldwide due to the COVID-19 pandemic. While grocery shopping, you may have seen people wearing these masks, or you may have even worn a mask yourself. And before this, it would be worn in any clinical or lab setting. Especially now, surgical face masks are so common, but there are two problems with them. The first problem focuses on the materials, which are melt-blown plastics, plastic or metal nose wires, and elastic bands. The rubber elastic bands can take up to 50 years to decompose. Inside the top of the mask is a metal and plastic piece, which holds the nose. These plastics that make up the mask can take up to 1,000 years to fully decompose. This waste will outlive my children for decades, for centuries after being thrown out. And while healthcare professionals are wearing masks to improve the health of patients, the disposal of them are damaging our ecosystems, which in turn damages the health of all living things. We found that there are no true biodegradable face masks currently on the market, and that most of the PPE that we use is exported from other countries, primarily Malaysia. As a society, we support recycling and throwing our trash away in the correct bins, but a ton of people incorrectly dispose their litter or trash anyways. Here's a man who found masks while walking down a beach. We can only imagine how many there are in landfills. Whether it's being littered or thrown out, each individual takes hundreds to thousands of years to, each mask takes hundreds of thousands of years to decompose. When it comes to PPE overall, respiratory protection makes up the industry's largest product segment at an estimated 18.9% of industry revenue. According to IBIS World, which is a database resource, the respiratory protection equipment industry in the US is a $1 billion market, with only 84 businesses to supply the US population of approximately 32,000 million adults. Yet, none of these companies manufacture biodegradable products. There are masks online being produced in countries such as China and Korea, which claim to be biodegradable, but when we read the materials used, there is a conclusion that these claims are within false advertising. Prestige Ameritech is our largest domestic competitor of disposal surgical face masks, as they are manufactured in the USA. What makes our product different from theirs is that ours will be made entirely out of biodegradable material, which is reducing the pollution impact. Today, retail stores are stripped clean of their respiratory protection equipment. Healthcare workers on the front lines are improvising the PPE that they use, especially to treat COVID-19 patients. For example, medics in New York are resorting to using items such as plastic bags and shower caps to protect them against the virus as supplies run out. The empty shelves visualize and reflect our need for USA-made products, as most masks are currently imported. We cannot educate everyone in the environment, but we can make it so that the masks are being thrown out will not harm our planet. The solution is producing surgical face masks made out of biodegradable material here in the USA. Although reusable face masks are eco-friendly options, single-use masks are the most common. Some industries actually cannot allow reusable face masks. For example, in clinical environments, the area has to be sterile, and reusable face masks have a higher chance of cultivating contagious germs. We hope that our face masks will decompose in a fraction of the time that current masks do, decreasing the environment's impact. We would like the material to degrade in just a few months or years. Unfortunately, if our masks turn out to be pricey, we cannot avoid the numbers when it comes to the quality of human environmental life. But in our best efforts, we will try to make it as affordable as possible. Once we get FDA approved in the future, all sales will be made directly to local clinics. We will commit around 2 to 3 hours a week on this project after the idea challenge. We're still in the process of doing research on the types of materials that could be used, being biodegradable, durable, and comfortable. We are seeking $2,000 to $3,000 to kick off our project, all of which will be used for professional researching on the materials and filtration testing. The remaining funds will be used to build a prototype and getting FDA approved. We will also investigate partnering with a manufacturer to produce them. Again, we want to proactively disrupt a difference in the brutal damage to our ecosystems. We are YPG. Thank you for your time and for listening to us.
Thank you very much, Team YPGs. Let's have a question for the team, please.
So, again, another noble cause. I think it's a great ambition to to try to move in a direction where we're not having so much waste. The question is, moving to the biodegradable material, how do you expect, or how do you anticipate that would impact costs and your price point? Does that cause an increase in price in cost, or a decrease? Where are you seeing that going?
So right now we're still in the process of finding the perfect biodegradable material, or the perfect mixture of biodegradable materials for our face masks. So we don't actually have estimates of the cost of the materials right now. However, we're trying to make them as cheap as possible when we do figure it out.
Okay. And are you anticipating at all, with other players in the market, I mean, albeit limited, that, potentially your go-to-market, would that be, you creating a product and go, B2B, or are you potentially considering, given the, experience that maybe other companies might have, possible licensing or distribution partnerships for this?
We're probably looking at distribution partnership with current manufacturing company that produces these masks, as it will save us on cost for building the machines and all of that. Yes, that's what we're trying to do. And I guess along with that too, we don't want to just make it a limited, we kind of are thinking about making it like a limited liability partnership as well, where we would have anyone that people that want to help us invest in it and help us work on it. We are willing to get help from outside resources, especially when it comes to manufacturing masks.
What level of confidence do you guys have that there will be a viable solution that is biodegradable? I mean, are there any risks that you go through this process and whatever cellulose base or whatever is not going to meet health guidelines for filtration, or I mean, is there some degree of risk here that you don't find a solution?
There is definitely a degree of risk. We're trying to think of making our face mask 3 layers. The first and last layer are planning to be made out of the biodegradable material, probably like some kind of PLA material or a mixture of PLA with other materials. And we would like the middle material to be a filter layer. While we are researching and developing this, we want to test it out with a bunch of other companies. I mean, I'll test it out all the materials before we
So we plan to do our research, and if you go to the last slide, Jay is a plastic engineer where he works with different materials, and so we just need money for testing and researching on more of this material. Did you hear any of that?
I think we're still having some difficulty hearing.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Last question for the teams in about 30 seconds.
I'm just thinking that UMass Lowell has a significant expertise in biodegradable plastics from a variety of things, and so you've been working with them some, and I think this is a product that has to happen, whether it will happen through this group or whatever. But there's no doubt it's an idea that's going to have to happen. Biodegradable face masks, and we have the expertise to do it, and I think we can meet the filtration things, but it's going to be a big job. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, YPGs. This is the conclusion for all 10 teams that present tonight. So Holly will go through the instruction after all the team present.
All right, thank you, Ha, for managing that portion of the event, and excellent job to all the teams, and thank you so much, judges. You had great comments and feedback and questions. So now it looks like we're actually right on time. The pitches were supposed to be done by 7:15. So now there's going to be about a 45-minute intermission for all the participants. So please feel free to leave your computers, leave your laptops, go grab some food, use the restroom, etc. The judge deliberation should be done by 8 p.m. As far as all of the judges, you received an email from me earlier today. So if you could just click the link on number 2, that will move you into the private judge deliberation group where Steve, Ha, Randy might join us as well. So if you could join that meeting, the Difference Maker team will join you as well. We'll deliberate, and then we'll all come back into this room at 8 p.m. for the award ceremony.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Bravo.
Well done.
Fantastic presentation. I loved everyone. Everyone.
Great.
Can you see that?
I can see it.
Perfect.
All right. Well, are we ready to begin, Holly?
Yes.
All right, folks. This is a really exciting time. Welcome back. Well, I'll welcome us back. I'm not sure if you all left the room or not. But thanks very much. I see there's 90 people in this room. This is really quite exciting. It's a tough judging as these finalists is always a challenge. And we had a great team of judges here this evening. I want to thank Brian Riss, Jack Wilson, Lorna Boucher, and Cindy Conde for being here tonight. How about a round of applause for their hard work? Bravo. Yes. It's just not quite the same virtually, is it? So we're going to announce these awards, and you folks, actually, you're lucky, because if I was standing up on stage in a room with 150 people, I would really go on for a long time, but Holly made me promise to keep it short because my internet connection is a little shaky. So I want to just thank everybody. Certainly we thank the judges. I want to thank everyone who made this possible. Our sponsors earlier, they've been great. All of the funding that we give away is raised from our supporters, from our donors, from alumni, from folks that are on the judging panel who just care a whole lot about what you all are doing. So I do want to really thank them from the bottom of my heart because it's what makes this all possible. I also want to thank Randy Tyndall and Tom O'Donnell, who've been in the background making sure this technology worked. And the guys, this got to say, worked pretty smoothly. So, yep,
yeah, good job.
Randy very often. He is the man behind the curtain. Randy, do you want to say something?
Well, it's definitely a learning experience for all of us, and I hope it went well for everyone.
It went great. Thank you, Randy.
Good.
Really good.
All right, so thank you all, and without further ado, we have a number of prizes, and this is what I think is nice about the Idea Challenge. The goal here is to basically seed you with some additional funding and advice and expertise to move you further down the road. We're not here to buy a huge controlling interest in your company or your idea, right? The goal here is to help you move further down the road. And so we have the 5 prize categories: Commitment to a Sustainable Environment, the Jack M. Wilson First Product to Market Award, the Contribution to a Healthier Lifestyle, the Sutherland Innovative Technology Solution, and Significant Social Impact. So first we'll announce those awards, and then after we finish that, we will announce the Risk Campus-Wide Difference Maker Award. And the Risk Campus-Wide Difference Maker Award is really an award to recognize one of the teams that did a good job pitching, but even more importantly, demonstrates sort of the ethos of a UMass Lowell student and team. It represents the success of our alumni. It's the type of team that we're going to look up to and look forward to involving. And we've had some great teams in the past, non-SPAC, Operation 250, very different types of teams that have been the Risk Campus-Wide Difference Maker. And so we're always excited. We're excited about all of our teams, and we're excited about the opportunities that lay ahead. And before I go on to announcing awards, I will mention that every team actually will receive some funding, and the work has just begun, because your next step after this will be to move into a virtual boot camp, and Holly and I will figure out how they're going to do that, but it'll basically be a program that'll help you in a much more rigorous way than the workshops to move your idea forward. And I suspect you'll be connecting with some of us and some of the judges as well. And so with that, Holly, I guess I would announce the first award.
Yeah, and you're starting with significant social impact, correct?
Drum roll?
Yeah, you can do a drum roll.
All right. Thank you. And the winner of the Significant Social Impact Award is YPG.
Oh no, my screen did not move.
Yeah.
There you go, YPG. Excellent. And if you were in my study with me, I would hand that trophy to you right now, but will suffice for a virtual trophy. Congratulations to Grace, Yerhan, and Paul. We really look forward to connecting you up with the resources in the university so that you can bring these masks, these biodegradable masks, to the market. So thank you.
Well done.
Well done. Very well done. Give yourselves a high five. Oh, look, I have a little bottle of champagne that I can share with you. I'll save this for the campus-wide difference maker. So. Excellent. Holly, shall we move on to the next award? Or?
Yes, so that's the Sutherland Innovative Technology.
So the Sutherland Innovative Technology Award, and I jumped out of the order of my script, is a solution that represents a new and innovative approach to solving a problem at hand. And the winner for the Innovative Technology Solution Award is Smart Escape. Congratulations to Smart Escape. Kevin, Andrew, Kevin, Noah, Alexander, there are three Kevins on that team? They should get a prize for that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, gentlemen, congratulations. We look forward to hearing more about your success as you move this forward and help to keep us safe. And you'll see your wonderful trophy. Holly, when did those trophies come in?
Yesterday morning.
Wow. Okay, that's not too bad. At least it wasn't today. So very good. So congratulations. And now we'll take a look at the winner for the Contribution to a Healthier Lifestyle Award. And this award is sponsored by Circle Health, our partners in healthcare in the greater Merrimack Valley. And this proposed solution will improve the quality of health for an individual or for a community. And the winning team for the award winner for the Contribution to a Healthier Lifestyle is Connect Me. Congratulations, Connect Me. We look forward to seeing that brace as some of us age. We need these more frequently than we care to admit.
I apologize for interrupting, but we've kept Brian Rist from being able to join in here, and so I just want to say something about whoever's running the thing have got to let him in.
Oh, thank you, Jack.
Okay.
Randy, can you help with that?
Yeah, hang on a second.
Okay.
Very good. And while Randy is working to get one of our big sponsors into the program, we'll just mention Connect Me. We think there is a real opportunity for you. And we have some folks that I think you should meet. I had mentioned our friends from Horsepower Technology that are kind of working in the space, except with a different species. But I think they have really done some work, and they're actually looking at very similar things, like integrating this with an app to monitor performance and such. So it really is an exciting opportunity.
Thank you.
Brian has been such an important part of this. And are you on now, Brian?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Good, thanks.
Good to have you back, Brian.
I thought I was commenting on you a little while ago or something. I don't know what it was. Yeah.
And I thought you had gone to make a cocktail, but that's another story. Right. Well, welcome back. The next prize is the Jack M. Wilson First Product to Market Award, sponsored by our good colleague at the university, Professor Emeritus Jack Wilson. And this solution is a solution that's likely to be implemented by the team members in a pretty a faster timeline than some of the other products. We think there's a likelihood that we can get this to market in a timely way. And the winner for the Jack M. Wilson First Product to Market Award is Smart Safety Outlet. Congratulations, Smart Safety Outlet. Having your prototype there really helps to show your commitment, your ability to move this forward. It was really exciting. The judges really find value in what you're doing, and we look forward to seeing helping you get this product out into the market. So thank you very much. Oh, I see lots of congratulations. There is a chat button down the bottom. I see lots of congratulations and thanks moving back and forth in the chat room. That's very exciting. The new category this year is the commitment to a sustainable environment. And in this category, this proposed solution will have a positive impact on the environment and improvement and address issues related to climate change, among other things. And again, this was a tough category because we had several competitors in this space, but the judges had a good deliberation. They looked at the pros and cons associated with each. And the winner of the Commitment to a Sustainable Environment Award is Mission Hydro. Congratulations, Mission Hydro. I'll tell you right now, the judges still have lots of questions for you, but you got them on this one, and they are interested in seeing you move forward. And it's an exciting space, so we look forward to hearing more about your solutions. Congratulations. I have my...
The next one's going to be the wrist.
Yes.
Okay.
I was going to guess that one, Holly. I see you're jumping out of the script order, but I got you. I'm with you on this one because we built up to it. So
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
So I can say a few things about this, but since Brian Rist is here, Brian, I'm wondering, do you want to say anything about your sponsorship of a prize like this? I think you're maybe muted.
Sorry about that. You know, I was up at the university just a few months ago, and one of the things besides the difference makers that we're heavily involved with is the sustainability. And so that really helps me to really want to push this particular product. And I don't know that most people know this, but we're in the fabric business here in Southwest Florida. So I guess I'm giving it away, but the winner of and I'm very proud to say, of the Risk Difference Maker Award is Migro Fabric.
Yes.
Oh my God. Thank you. Oh shit. Hold on. Oh, shit. Oh, I didn't even do it. It's our video. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, good luck to you. We think there's real potential. You know, if you get a hold of us, maybe a lot of us had some other thoughts and ideas that maybe we can help you with, and we'd really like to see you be a big, huge success.
Thank you so much.
Nice
Joint
job.
ventures, collaborations, I'm ready. Partnerships, let's do this. Let's form stuff. Let's
Nice job, Justin.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you for the
Congratulations.
opportunity again, everybody, and thank you for all your hard work.
Very good. Well, it's really us that should be thanking you and all of the teams tonight, because you all have put in some work. You put this work on while we're in an emergency lockdown situation. So the fact that these teams continue to move forward and we're so successful despite all the challenges that we know that they face. So thank you to the teams. Thank you to the friends and the family that support them. And also thank you very much to our judges. I look forward to working with you all throughout the year, but this is a special night, and the fact that you all were able to join us here tonight and help to support this and make the success means a
Steve,
lot.
I do have the awards for the honorable mentions as well.
I do. Do I have them on a slide, Holly?
I have them on a slide. Yes, I do.
Are they on one slide or 4 different slides?
One slide.
All right. So now, before I hang up prematurely, let me introduce the honorable mentions, because the nice thing about the Difference Maker Idea Challenge is that every team that makes it this far does get funding. So Holly, why don't you bring up that honorable mention slide? And we have the Green Wall Project, No Snowmat, AFED, and Happy Pinning. Nobody's a loser in Difference Makers, right? You're all moving forward. We have $2,000 for each of you to support your projects. We anticipate you'll participate in the boot camp along with the other teams. And I have to tell you, there have been a couple of those honorable mention teams that have gone on to do very, very well. So congratulations to you all. And Holly, thank you for that reminder. So Holly, is there anything you would like to add?
So I would just like to add that, like Steve had mentioned, all of these teams for the next steps will be moving into summer boot camp. Han and I are going to have a meeting later this week regarding how we're going to do that in a virtual manner this summer. They're going to be learning more about their business models, customer discovery. We're going to make sure we're linking them up with the right mentors, helping them build up their teams, linking them to additional funding opportunities. And Foley and Lardner LLP and one of our alums, Chris McKenna from the Francis College of Engineering, donate $15,000 of in-kind legal services to us, which is very helpful and instrumental in pushing our teams forward from a legal standpoint. So after the boot camp, Chris McKenna and Foley and Lardner will be awarding that $15,000 in prizes in 3 $5,000 awards. So 3 of the teams that won tonight will also receive a $5,000 award this summer from Foley and Lardner.
Excellent. Excellent. And with that, we'll thank our judges once again, folks. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate that.
Thank you for doing this. Fabulous job.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun.
Brian, for all the support you've provided to make this happen. That's really much appreciated.
Well, Holly and Hara and the folks behind the curtain, they're the ones that pulled this off tonight, so hats off to them.
Yeah, a huge thank you to all the teams for pushing forward and all of the judges joining us today with their increased busy schedules. We really, really appreciate that.
You guys just keep making it better and better, so thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, folks, you all have a great night. Look forward to seeing those teams.
Thanks,
Congratulations,
everyone. Nice job.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.